Welcome to another amazing episode of our movie. Trust me, you're going to love this one. At the end, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to see more of our latest movies. Just relax and enjoy. The movie begins with a young man named Will, who, after finishing his youth service, mistakenly boards the wrong flight and gets kidnapped. After taking everything from him and beating him up, the kidnappers drop him in a village called Asaba, leaving his hands and legs tied as he cries out for help. Suddenly, a woman and her daughter pass by the same route, and, although initially scared, they help him after he explains everything. They untie him and take him home. When they arrive home, Will is still in pain, and Amanda's mother gives him a massage. Will explains that he doesn't know how he will get back to Lagos. Amanda's mother feels worried, saying she doesn't have enough money for a flight and feels sad for him. Amanda suggests that he could take a bus instead, and Will agrees. Amanda's mother then gives him the money she had set aside for her business, which he greatly appreciates. Amanda, realizing that the money won't be enough, offers him the money her mother had given her for books. Will accepts the money and looks at Amanda romantically. Is he already falling for her? Let's find out. Before leaving, Will asks for their contact details so he can call them when he gets back to Lagos. They write down their number and give it to him, hoping to hear from him once he's home. Later that night, Will lays out a mat to sleep on, but Amanda's mother insists that he sleep on the bed as his body is still sore from the bruises. Will protests, wanting to sleep on the floor, but Amanda's mother insists, saying she owns the house and can decide where he sleeps. Will appreciates her kindness and goes to sleep. The next morning, Amanda's mother wakes her up to prepare Will's bathwater as he is leaving that day. Amanda, still sleepy, prepares the water. After getting ready, Will thanks Amanda for her kindness, and she welcomes him. As he is about to leave, Amanda stops him, asking him to call them when he gets to Lagos. He promises he will, and Amanda feels sad as he leaves. When Will gets home, the maid welcomes him, and he asks her to get him some water because he's feeling very tired. Later that day, while the maid is washing Will's clothes, she finds the piece of paper with Amanda's number on it and unknowingly throws it away. How sad! Now Will won't be able to call them. How will he find their house again? Has he lost them forever? Well, if fate brings them back together, it's for good. Let's keep watching, guys. At Amanda's house, she is worried that Will hasn't called to let them know he got home. Her mother reassures her, suggesting that maybe he doesn't have a phone yet and that he will definitely call, which helps Amanda feel better. That same day, Will is in his living room and asks his maid to check the pocket of his youth service uniform for a piece of paper. The maid tells him she threw it away, which shocks Will. Panicking, he yells at her and decides they should look for it. He rushes out to search for the paper, but can't find it. In desperation, he hires someone to go to Asaba to help him look for Amanda. Will explains the situation but doesn't know exactly where she lives. He tells the person to make sure they find her, then ends the call, still panicking, and rushes upstairs to call his maid again. The next morning at Amanda's house, they are worried that Will hasn't called, and Amanda wonders if he is okay. While talking to her mother, Amanda accidentally drops the phone, which was already having issues. Amanda tries to fix it, worried about how they will get their money back. Her mother reassures her, saying they didn't help Will to be repaid, and reminds her that God will provide. Still, Amanda worries about how she will get her textbooks, but her mother comforts her. The next day, Amanda's mother brings good news. She has been able to get money to restart her business, and Amanda is overjoyed, hugging her mother. Later that day, Amanda tells her mother that she wants to go to the city to find a job since she has finished her studies. Her mother is concerned and asks who Amanda will stay with. Amanda replies that she has a course mate in Lagos who knows she is coming. Her mother asks if this course mate is a good person, and Amanda assures her that she is. Her mother then prays for her, and after they finish, she asks when Amanda will leave. Amanda replies that she will leave once she has saved enough money, and her mother says, "That's good." The next morning, Amanda returned from hawking and saw her mother arranging her wrappers. She admired them, and her mother told her that her father had bought all the wrappers for her when everything was still okay. She had never used them, but now she felt it was time to put them to use. Amanda stared at her, asking if she was planning to sell them. Her mother confirmed that she was selling them to support her because she couldn't bear to see her daughter struggling. Amanda insisted that she shouldn't sell them, but her mother had already made up her mind. She didn't want to watch her daughter suffer. Amanda cried and hugged her mother, telling her that she would make her proud. Her mother, also in tears, responded that she was already proud of her, and they hugged tightly. Years later, Will had become a successful businessman. One morning, he was angry with his secretary for not completing a task correctly. He immediately called the HR manager and shouted at him for hiring her, then fired the secretary despite her pleas. The next morning, Will arrived at the office with a friend. As he was about to enter his office, he noticed the receptionist was not at her desk and asked her colleague where she was. He was told that she had stepped out to get something, and he left it at that. Suddenly, the receptionist returned. "Wow! It was Amanda! So they've met again at last!" But wait, I'm not sure if they recognize each other after all these years. Only time will tell if they remember. Amanda panicked, knowing that her boss was strict and might fire her, so she quietly sat down. Later that day, Will went home with his friends after a fun outing. They had had enough drinks, but his friends asked him to tell the house help to bring them more food. Will was surprised, since they had already eaten plenty of fish and had drinks, but he decided to give them what they wanted, because they were his best friends. After they finished eating, they left the place in a mess. Will was disgusted by the untidiness and was about to call them out when, luckily, his house help, Chinenye, came in. He pleaded with her to clean up the place, calling his friends those two idiots for getting drunk again. Chinenye commented that this was because Will allowed them to behave that way, then joked that Will was the only responsible one among them. At that moment, one of Will's friends, KC, came downstairs and overheard. He playfully asked Chinenye if she was implying that he wasn't responsible. Chinenye greeted him, calling him Mr. KC, but he told her to drop the Mr. and just call him KC, which she did. Will then asked Chinenye to help clean the house because his girlfriend was coming over, and he needed the place spotless. Afterward, he immediately left, saying he was going for a run. KC then asked Chinenye for a cup of coffee, and she agreed. The next morning, Will's girlfriend arrived. He gave her a warm hug and told her he missed her. She replied that she missed him too and mentioned that she was hungry, so they went upstairs. That same morning, Amanda was on her way to the office. She called her mother to check on her and asked if she was taking her medication, as her health wasn't strong. Amanda also told her mother that she had saved enough money to rent a room and that she wanted her mother to come stay with her once she had secured the apartment. She ended the call with a kiss over the phone. The next morning, Will came downstairs and hugged his girlfriend, noticing that the living room was a mess. He asked what had happened, and his girlfriend casually said that the house help would clean it up. Will told her that Chinenye didn't work on weekends. His girlfriend became upset, asking who would clean up and make dinner. She demanded that Will call Chinenye to come and make fish pepper soup. Will calmly refused, reminding her that it was Chinenye's day off and she needed to rest. He offered to order the food instead, but his girlfriend insisted on homemade pepper soup. She rudely took Will's phone and ordered Chinenye to come over, buy fish and the ingredients, and make the soup, saying her boyfriend would send her money. Will complained that her tone was too harsh, but his girlfriend didn't care, assuming Chinenye had no choice. Later, when Chinenye arrived, Will's girlfriend asked her to give her a manicure. Chinenye explained that she didn't know how to do it, which made Will's girlfriend angry. She told Chinenye, "I give you 30 minutes to Google it and master it, or consider yourself fired." Chinenye was shocked. Will's girlfriend also told her that if she needed anything, she should let her know, then walked away. That same day, Amanda and her colleague were discussing their boss when he suddenly appeared. They quickly greeted him, and after he left, they nervously said that was a close call. Amanda warned her colleague not to gossip anymore. Later that day, Will returned home from work and was surprised to see that Chinenye was still there. She explained that she had been running errands for his girlfriend, including being asked to do a manicure. Will, surprised, asked if she knew how to do it, but Chinenye told him she didn't, and that his girlfriend had asked her to Google it. Will then went upstairs, where his girlfriend was on the phone with her sugar daddy, but quickly ended the call when she heard him coming. She pretended she wasn't doing anything suspicious. Will asked his girlfriend why she had kept sending Chinenye on tasks when she should have gone home by now. His girlfriend got angry, accusing Chinenye of reporting her. Will clarified that he had been the one who asked Chinenye, but his girlfriend stormed downstairs and slapped Chinenye, who held her cheek in pain. Will was displeased and told his girlfriend that wasn't nice. His girlfriend angrily went back upstairs, and Will apologized to Chinenye. The next morning, Will and his friend KC were at home, and Will told him that he planned to propose to his girlfriend, Anita. KC was shocked and warned him not to do it, saying Anita couldn't even cook or clean properly. Will replied that those tasks were for the house help, and it wasn't essential for a woman to know how to manage the house. Still, KC cautioned him, insisting Anita wasn't right for him and promised to find a better wife for him if he really wanted to get married. Will sarcastically told KC to find a wife for himself first, before finding one for him, and they both laughed. Later that day, Amanda was on a call with her mother, telling her that her boss looked really familiar. She also informed her mother that she had gotten an apartment big enough for both of them, and that the restroom was in good condition. Her mother was delighted. The next morning, Will and Anita were supposed to go out, but as she was getting dressed, she received a call from one of her sugar daddies, telling her he had booked a flight for her and asking her to come over. She agreed. Meanwhile, Will was downstairs waiting for her, but then he saw her coming down with her suitcase. She immediately lied, saying there was an emergency at the office and that they had already booked a flight for her. Will felt bad, reminding her that she had promised to spend 2 weeks with him. She held his face and pleaded, asking him to take her to the airport. Though disappointed, Will agreed, but he wasn't happy about it. Later that day, Amanda's mother arrived in Lagos and went straight to Amanda's workplace to collect the apartment key from her. Amanda was so happy to see her mother. Her colleague told her to ask for permission so they could leave. But as she was about to, their boss walked in and was not happy to see a stranger in the office. He angrily went to his office, and the other receptionist panicked, fearing Amanda might be fired. When Amanda returned and saw the situation, she asked what was going on, and her friend informed her. Amanda became scared and started crying, but her mother comforted her. Just then, a call came in on the company phone, and Amanda was asked to see the boss immediately, which made her even more afraid, thinking she was about to be fired. She and her mother went to the office, with her mother following closely to plead on her behalf. They entered Will's office and immediately started begging. Amanda's mother was about to kneel down, but Will stopped her, recognizing her and exclaiming, "It's you, Mama! It's you!" He hugged her, and she was surprised but realized he looked familiar. Will then reminded them of their past, and they remembered him. Amanda was in shock, but Will was excited, telling them that he had been looking for both of them. They sat down and talked, and Will suggested they go to their house, pack their bags, and come stay with him. Amanda and her mother were surprised and initially disagreed, but Will pleaded with them, explaining that he needed a family since he had lost his parents. They felt sorry for him, and after discussing it among themselves, they accepted his offer. Will was overjoyed. Finally, they all moved to Will's house. Will arranged for them to stay in separate rooms, but Amanda insisted she would share a room with her mother. Her mother disagreed, saying she would stay in her own room. Will, wanting them to feel comfortable, left them to carry their bags inside. Later that day at dinner, Will thanked them for accepting to be his family, and they all ate happily. The next morning, as Will was about to leave for work, Amanda's mother came out and asked if he didn't take breakfast. He replied that he didn't, as he usually rushed off to work, but added that he was hoping for a change in his routine. As they were talking, Amanda came in and greeted him, saying, "Good morning, sir." Will immediately told her to stop calling him sir and to use his name instead. She agreed and then asked what she could do for him, since he had asked her not to come to work that day. Will handed her his card, telling her to take her mother shopping and to buy something for herself as well. Amanda was surprised and hesitant to accept it, but her mother quickly took it, thanking Will. Amanda later expressed to her mother that she didn't like taking his card, fearing Will might think they were gold diggers. Her mother reassured her, saying Will wasn't thinking that way. She explained that Will just wanted a family and cared for them, encouraging Amanda to accept his generosity. Amanda smiled and accepted the card, and they both went inside. Later that day, Will called his HR manager and asked if there were any vacancies in the accounting department. The HR manager said no, but added that someone had recently applied for a resignation. Will immediately decided that Amanda should take the position. The HR manager was surprised and pointed out that Amanda didn't have experience, but Will insisted, saying they could train her. He added that Amanda would be starting the next morning and then left. Will got home with his friends and called out for Amanda and her mom. They both came outside, and his friends greeted Amanda's mom. Will then introduced them to his friends, who were surprised to learn that Amanda had been the receptionist at Will's company. They didn't know that she was the one he had been looking for. They welcomed her, and Will concluded that they were now family and should be treated as such. Amanda's mom told them that they had prepared something delicious, and everyone was happy because they loved the idea of food. The next morning, Will went to the office and immediately asked to see Amanda. Her colleague was surprised and asked what was going on. Amanda went to Will's office, where he informed her that she would be taking the accounting position. She was extremely surprised, but Will assured her that HR would help her settle in. He then left, saying he had a meeting to attend. Later that day, Will called his girlfriend, happily telling her that Amanda and her mother were staying at his house. She became angry, accusing Amanda and her mother of trying to scam him and take all his money, suggesting that Amanda had started working at his office to achieve this. Will stopped her, saying that Amanda and her mother weren't like that, and explained that they had actually helped him in the past. He ended the call, telling her he was busy and would talk to her later. The next morning, Amanda was sitting alone in the living room, thinking about Will. Her mother came and asked what she was thinking about, but Amanda said it was nothing. Her mother kept pressing, and Amanda finally admitted that she was finding it difficult to act like Will was her brother. Her mother looked at her and asked if she liked him. Amanda denied it, but her mother concluded that she did like him. Amanda continued to deny it while her mother laughed and playfully tickled her. Later that day, Amanda heard a knock at the door and quickly went to open it. It was Anita, but Amanda didn't know who she was. She asked, but Anita gave her a nasty look. Amanda's mom came out, and Anita said, "You must be Amanda's mom." Amanda's mom said yes, and Anita angrily stormed upstairs, shouting at Will and saying she had told him to get rid of them, but he refused. Will told her that Amanda and her mom were his family and that he couldn't just kick them out. Anita then declared that if he didn't get rid of them, their relationship was over, and she stormed off. Will tried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen, leaving Amanda and her mom shocked. Will tried calling Anita several times, but her number wasn't going through. After many attempts, he finally got through, but Anita told him not to call her again and said she was blocking his number. She ended the call, leaving Will frustrated. Will got home from work and asked where Amanda was. Her mother told him that Amanda had gone on a date, which surprised Will. He went to his room, worried, and spent the night checking through the window to see if Amanda was coming back, but she didn't return. It seems like Will likes Amanda, don't you think? The next morning, Will's friends came over to his house. After they finished eating, Amanda's mom asked if they enjoyed the food, and they thanked her, saying they really did. She then told them that Amanda had made the meal, which surprised them. After she left, Casey turned to Will and said Amanda was wife material. Will then opened up to his friends, confessing that he was in love with Amanda, but didn't know how to tell her since she had brother-zoned him. His friends encouraged him to express his feelings. The next morning, Amanda was dressed for work and waiting for Will. But when he didn't come downstairs, she went to his room and saw that he wasn't feeling well. Will told her to ask the driver to drop her off at work and to call her mother for him. She did as he asked, and her mother quickly rushed upstairs to check on him, while Amanda left for work. Later that day, Will was upset that Amanda had gone on another date. When she returned, she greeted him, but he didn't respond. He simply said goodnight and went inside, leaving Amanda confused. She asked her mom what was going on, but her mother just smiled and went inside. The next day, Will came downstairs and asked to talk to Amanda's mom. She asked him to sit down, and he told her that he had liked Amanda ever since he first saw her. Amanda's mom advised him to tell her how he felt, and Will was happy. He decided to pick Amanda up from work so he could confess his feelings to her. Amanda's mom was excited too. Will met Amanda after work and confessed that he loved her. Amanda, in turn, confessed that she had liked him from the beginning, but when he said she was his sister, it had hurt her feelings. After they both shared their feelings, they kissed. How sweet. Love is truly a beautiful thing. When they got home, holding hands, Amanda let go when she saw her mom, but Will held her back and told her mother that Amanda had accepted his love. Her mother was very happy, and Amanda was surprised, asking if her mom had known all along. Her mom replied that she did know and gave them both a hug. She then rushed to prepare something special for them. The next morning, Will heard a knock at the door. He opened it and was surprised to see Anita. She walked in and hugged him, saying she had forgiven him. Just then, Amanda came out and saw them. Anita asked what was going on, and Will moved closer to Amanda, telling Anita that Amanda was now his woman. Anita got angry, accusing them of plotting this all along, but Will shut her down, reminding her that she had blocked him and ended their relationship 6 months ago. Now, she was suddenly coming back to forgive him? Anita kept shouting, but Will asked her to leave, eventually pushing her out. Will turned to Amanda and apologized, promising that he would never disrespect her like that again. He told her that he loved her and wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. Amanda told him that he was her everything, and they kissed while Amanda's mom blushed, watching them. How adorable. And that's how the story ends. Guys, don't forget to like, share, and comment, and let me know what you learned from this beautiful story. Thanks for watching this amazing story in my world of movies. Please don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and educational stories. See you in our next movie.